Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ask an Event Pro. It's Francisco, product evangelist at Events.com, and today we have our very first panel, and this is going to be with Cory Freedman. She's with the Toronto Women's Run Series, Kate Lucas, Charlottesville Multisport, Brae Blackley, ZOOMA Women's Race Series, and Courtney Leonard with Mountain Sports International. Good morning, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. So, guys, again, this is Asking Event Pro, the show where we get to know a little bit better the pros that put on the events that you love. And today, we're going to talk about how to get more feet to your starting line. So we're going to start with a question for all of you ladies. And this is going to be, what is the one tool, digital or otherwise, that you just couldn't live without? Let's start with you, Cory.
Thank you for the question, for having the opportunity to be with everyone here today. For me, the most powerful tool and the one I can't live without is word of mouth. I know that 70% of my participants come with a friend, and so that, for me, word of mouth is the most powerful tool that I have access to.
Fantastic. I couldn't disagree with you. there. Kate, how about you?
I would have to say, if it's a tool, I would have to say it's my phone. My cell phone is my most important tool because that's the way I stay connected with my volunteers and all my race crew, and it's definitely something I can't live without today. Even walkie-talkies aren't fast enough or good enough. The cell phone is the best way for me to communicate with so many people on race day.
Absolutely. How about you, Brae?
I mean, all of those things are important to me as well, but just in the interest of being different, you know, one of our most successful marketing efforts is our ambassador group, and we communicate with them through Facebook groups. That's primarily how we talk to them throughout the marketing period for the race. So I'll go ahead and say Facebook groups for that group of people.
Courtney, a tool, digital or otherwise, that you just couldn't live without.
Yeah, so pretty much every day here in the office and on site at the event, I use Excel. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's like my magic device. I go to it all the time. I use it to sort all my data. I use it to make charts and see trends. I also use it from year to year to, you know, look at research and everything. So it's very useful. Easy, but useful.
Fantastic. Those are all great. I think I use them all too. All right. So we're going to go now to some more specific questions. We're going to start with Kate. Kate, we'd love to know what's the most effective marketing tactic for attracting new participants to your race?
What I found that works the best is just what Cory said, was word of mouth. And to me, that's the most important, effective marketing tool. And the way I did that was, when I first was starting out, was I placed emphasis on safety and putting on a quality event. And I knew that word would spread and help grow the event the next year. But the other tactic that I used was I gathered all the participants' emails and created an e-newsletter that would go out after that and follow up and stay connected with all the past participants and keep it fresh in their mind. So I think those two tactics, just making sure you're putting on a quality event and a safe event, and then staying connected with the past participants, helps get you that word of mouth to get new participants coming back.
Fantastic. For those that are just joining, that was Kate Lucas with Charlottesville Multisport, and basically it's very important when you're thinking marketing that you put on a quality event, because that's how people will share that experience, and word of mouth is always going to be the best marketing tactic. Now I have to assume you're using social media for both stay connected with those event goers as well as allow them to share that experience.
Yeah, that's correct. There's not just one silver bullet. It's several details that go into effect. And yes, I do have a Facebook page and actually Twitter that's connected to that. and I utilize that to do instant updates. I try to get more new participants on the Facebook page by always advertising and getting the word out that I'm going to post the water temperatures on that Facebook page. And I find that's when I get the most spikes for likes on my Facebook page, is when I'm about to announce the water temperature. So that's a little strategy there to get more people on your Facebook page. And the more followers you have on Facebook page, the more powerful your media and your marketing is going to be.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. Find that one thing that people are very interested about and blast it in social media. Make sure that everyone's aware that you're about to put that out there. Very nice. Thank you, Kate. Now, I have a question for Cory. It's Cory Freedman with the Toronto Women's Run Series. Now, I understand word of mouth is very important, showing someone an amazing experience so that they can share it with others and basically recruit for you, do the marketing for you. That's great. But would love to get a little bit deeper into how do you keep participants coming back to your races year after year? What types of programs do you offer or something like that?
Well, you know, I agree with what Kate said, is you sort of go back to the basics and you deliver what you say you're going to deliver, which is, you know, a high quality event that's consistent, so that, you know, you can come year over year, and each time you come, you still get the same great quality of the race. So in other words, a safe course, a measured, accurate distance of the route, you know, water stations that have volunteers, all that, what I call the basics are the what you have to fundamentally deliver what people have signed up for, and that's a quality running event. Then from there, what we do is we like to reward the people who keep coming back. So for us, we do a series finisher prize, and that if you do all 3 races within the year, you get a special prize at the end. We like to do, and we do high quality swag items. We want people to feel that they got great value for their money, but they also got an experience, not just a race. It was an experience from the minute they parked their car, the minute they drove into the venue, and there was a volunteer helping them direct their car to a parking spot, all the way to when they cross the finish line and get their food at the end. Every encounter with our people and our volunteers has been consistent and solid and rewarding, so it becomes experiential. I think that, you know, we all of us in the endurance landscape business, we have to deliver what people have fundamentally signed up for, which is a good event, and then after that you sort of add on the things that make your series unique, such as the swag or the special items, or as some people, you know, post all the top finishers on Facebook pages, all the different things, the add-ons that I call, that make the day go from good to great and memorable, and that they walk away and say, oh my God, that was fantastic, I'm going to come back again, and I'm going to bring a friend or 2 or 3.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very nice. Thank you so much, Cory. That's Cory Freedman with the Toronto Women's Run Series. Now, I have a question for Courtney Leonard, Mountain Sports International. Courtney, you mentioned you use Excel a lot, but I'm interested in knowing how you gather the feedback that you end up feeding into Excel after each race, so that you can implement it in the next race that you put on.
Yeah.
What type of,
so this is perfect. Actually, we just finished up two races back-to-back weekends, and that's pretty much all I've been dealing with for the past 2 weeks is, you know, getting all this feedback from everybody. So what we do is we send out a survey. Pretty typical, but it's a survey that covers everything from branding and sponsors to simply asking, you know, all the runners how they heard about the event in the first place. We typically get a lot of feedback from people, and, you know, that's really good. I spend a lot of time digging through all their answers, figuring out, you know, if there's an answer that, you know, more than 5 people responded to the same question, then I make sure I pay attention to that, and by our next race we usually have that problem fixed. Or if there's something that people loved, we like to, you know, make sure that we're bringing that back and adding more of it for every single race. But really, I think that the real feedback comes from being at the race or at the event itself. It's not so much what people are saying after the event. It's what's happening during the event. At least for me, when I'm walking around the event or I'm at the race and I'm talking to people, interacting with people, and I'm trying to listen to each person and hearing how they're reacting right there in person, because I think that's the best feedback you can get, is that instant reaction that they have, either to a product or to anything that you have on site. So yeah, I mean, I would say through surveys and then just through one-on-one interaction on site is probably the best way that I get feedback and make sure that it continues to improve to our next event.
Absolutely, that makes total sense to me. And for those that are just joining as well, that was Courtney Leonard. So the way that she gets feedback, some surveys, but also you have to stay focused and connected with your participants day of, so that you can understand, you can hear what they're saying, and that is, like Courtney says, probably the best piece of feedback that you can get. Now, Courtney, I do want to ask you, for the surveys that you send out, how soon after the race do you send that out?
I try to do it, I don't want to say as quickly as possible, but usually within 2 to 3 days after the event wraps up. And I just like to do that because I like people to have that emotion that they experienced at the race. I want them to still have that in them.
Right.
If you wait a week after the race, that excitement or the anger or whatever they experienced might fade away. And so I want to make sure that it's fresh and it's there, and we can really feel what they were feeling and make sure that we help or improve for every event.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
so
2
maybe
to 3 days.
2 to 3 days, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I think I've read somewhere that Tuesdays is the best day to send out a blast email anyway. So if you have a race on Sunday, sending a survey on Tuesday, or even if it's Saturday, 3 days after, it's not a bad idea. So thank you, Courtney. That's really, really insightful. Appreciate that. Now, I have a question for Brae now. Brae Blackley, she's the ZOOMA Women's Race Series. And Brae, we would love to know what's your best piece of advice for starting a new race or a series from scratch.
I think that my answer today would be very different than what I would answer, 5 or 10 years ago. I can
today, rewind and ask you as if we're 5 years ago.
You want to ask me 5 years ago? Well, I can give you that answer, but it might not be that helpful for people that are listening. I think today that there are a lot of really good events out there, and so if you're going to start a new event, I think you need to be really solid about what product you're offering that is not currently available in the city or the market where you're looking to set up a race. So there are a lot of really good quality events that are just a half marathon. They give a medal and a shirt. So I think whether your angle is you're raising money for a specific cause or raising awareness for a cause, or you have some really interesting hook, like you're running through a theme park or something like that. I think that in order to survive and get the number of participants that you likely need to make your event sustainable, then you need to be very thoughtful about that, sort of the marketing side of things, which I think 5 or 10 years ago, it was easier just to sort of pop out a really quality event, just start line, finish line, accurate course, everything goes well, and you would get a lot of runners. And these days, I think you kind of have to take that extra step to have something exceptionally unique, especially with all the really out-of-the-box type of events that people can choose from, like color runs and all of those things. So I think it's just very competitive to start an event and to have an event be sustainable, and so to just be very thoughtful about that.
Absolutely. Fantastic, Brae. Thank you so much. Now, I do have a question again for all of you ladies, and I'll just basically go down the list to get an answer from you. This is more of a fun question. So for those that answered phone in the first question, you're not allowed to answer phone again. All right. What is the one thing you always have in your bag on race day? And we'll start with you, Cory.
Oh, it's always hard being first. Sometimes it has advantages. So I will say that there's two things. I always tend to have my pockets full of different things, but I've been working hard to narrow it down. So first, of course, it's my phone because it really is everything in terms of being able to quickly communicate. The other thing is I carry a Leatherman utility tool, which is a little bit of everything. So I find that I can, no matter what, somehow between my phone and my Leatherman and a good pair of running shoes, I've got everything sort of covered off. And a pair of gloves.
Interesting.
I can go on and on, but you know, there's other people who still have to give in their answers. So those would be my biggies.
I like that. I like that. And Leatherman get a little piece of advertising there too. All right, Kate.
Yes.
What about you? One thing that you always have in your bag on race day.
Well, that's funny. I totally agree with Cory, and but I'll say something different. I will add that I've learned for my longest event, which is a half Ironman that I put on, and it's an 8-hour race. So that makes it a good 12, 14-hour day on your feet, which means a good 3 or 4 days of setup on your feet before that, or total. And I've learned that compression socks actually help me tremendously get through those 4 or 5 days of putting on that race. And my arches and my legs feel so much better actually after I use compression socks. And I was a non-believer in those, and I put on that event for about 2 or 3 years without compression socks, and then I used them 1 year, and it made a world of difference. So I would have to say that's one thing for my longest events. For shorter events, I can get away with it, but it actually still makes my legs feel a lot better. So another one would be my welcome letter to the athletes and thanking volunteers and sponsors at the beginning of the race, and also for the award ceremony. And I'll kind of have the schedule, the welcome letter, all stuffed in my pocket, so I have it with me at all times.
Very nice. Yeah, that's very important, and kind of reminds you when your head's all over the place.
Right.
All right. Now, Brae, how about you? What's the one thing you always have in your bag on race day?
I mean, the honest truth is my phone. That's just the truth. I know that's boring, but you know, maybe I can add to it. It is how we communicate with the team, and you know, anyone, of course, you know, that that's on course or around the finish line area. That's how we communicate with them. But what I will add is that I very often post things on social media during the event, which I can do from my phone. So, you know, that becomes an important tool for that reason as well.
Very nice, very nice. And I was joking about the phone. I understand it's very important, and I'm sure most people have.
I don't carry a Leatherman. I carry my phone.
We've heard zip ties a lot. Anyone zip ties so far?
Yes.
There are people on my team who would say zip ties. That's just not mine. You know,
Gotcha.
It just depends, I guess, on what you're doing on race day.
Right. Courtney, I hope I didn't take yours away when I said that.
No. I do have zip ties.
What is the one thing that you always have?
So, of course, I mean, I have my bag full of my stuff, my phone, my laptop, my Wi-Fi card. But something that I always want to make sure that I have in there is actually discount codes for my next race. And that is actually super helpful for me because I can keep some in my pocket. And it's, you know, for good or for bad. If people are having issues with something or they seem really stressed out, you know, I'm happy to present them with a discount code, make them feel a little bit better about maybe coming to run whatever our next race in our series is. Or if someone crosses the finish line and they're, you know, so stoked and they can't stop talking about the race and they love everything around them, I want to make sure that they get to do that again, and hopefully by giving them a discount code, they can, you know, share with their friends and get more people to our events in the end. So really, I know it sounds kind of lame, but discount codes, that's something that I always keep on me, and it's useful in pretty much every situation.
Not at all. Not lame at all. I have never heard that. I love it. I mean, if I were to be the one crossing the finish line and I'm so stoked, and then on top of that I get a coupon code, trust me, I'd bring my whole family back next year. So
that's the goal.
Well, ladies, thank you so much. This has been amazing. Our very first panel. Again, we've had with us today Cory Freedman from the Toronto Women's Run Series, Kate Lucas, Charlottesville Multisport, Brae Blackley, ZOOMA Women's Race Series, and Courtney Leonard, Mountain Sports International. And this has been Asking Event Pro. Please remember to join us every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. Pacific. And we will see you again soon next week. Thank you so much, ladies. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.